Hi everyone, welcome to your portable Pilates video. I am Melissa McNamara, but you should know that. And this is a portable Pilates workshop that I created for Mind Art Core Pilates Performance. So welcome, and I'm happy to have you with me. The first thing that we'll do is we'll learn the first section, which is basically using your flex band to mimic or mock some reformer exercise work. So we'll start that now. So we're going to start with what's considered footwork. So you'll lie down onto your backs. You can be neutral or find just a gentle imprint. And then we'll bring the feet behind the band. And you're going to hold onto the band, ideally in line with your shoulders. So if you put your elbows all the way down and you feel like your shoulders are popping forwards, you want to lift the elbows off just a little bit. So I'm going to stay in either my neutral or my imprints. And then from here, I'm going to find the first position of footwork, which is toes apart, heels together. So that's taking the toes away from each other and bringing the heels together. So it's a little V position of the feet and the knees. Now, in order to make this a little bit more comfortable with the band, I'm going to place the band on the insides of the knees. From here, keeping my connection into the abdominals, I'm going to take a breath in and then exhale, press the legs away, squeezing the inner thighs, strengthening the knees, and then folding it right back in with control. Exhale to reach. Inhale, fold it back through. We'll do about 5 just like this. Think about your glutes squeezing. Think about the inner thighs squeezing and the abdominals drawing back in space. If you feel like you're losing your abdominals and your back is arching, lift the legs up just a little bit higher to the ceiling. Now for this next one, we're gonna add a little modification. We're gonna curl forwards, looking through the legs, lifting off those elbows a little bit, and then exhale, reach out for another 5. Exhale, reach out for 4. Find the tracking of the knees as you squeeze up through those kneecaps. Breath pulling the abdominals back and down. Last 2. And last 1. And we can also add a little baby pulse. So I can lower the upper body down and add a little pulse out, out, out. Just focusing on the backs of the legs, glutes and hamstrings. I can add a curl to that. Maybe about 8 of those. And last one, bring the legs in, lower back down, and we'll go to our second position, which is toes wrapped. So I'm gonna bring the band towards the ball of the foot, legs together, and then I'm gonna wrap the toes on top, like you're kind of squishing onto the band. Same idea with the arms. You can either fix them down to the mat, but if the shoulders are rolling forwards, just lift them off a little bit. And then exhale, extend the legs straight out. Inhale, fold. Different band tensions will give you different resistance for either your legs or your abs. So less resistance of the bands will be more ab work. More resistance will be more leg work. We're gonna add a curl forwards. I'm gonna nod, flex forwards. I lift my elbows off if I flex because otherwise the shoulders will definitely pop forwards. And then I'm gonna add 5 more here. Exhaling on the way out, trying to keep the toes wrapped on top of that band. 3 more for 3. Pulling the abdominals down and extending those knees with strength and control. Last 2. Keeping that fluid quality of that knee joint and then bringing it back in, I can add that little pulse. So let's lower down, just pulsing the legs. Now add your curl forwards to pulse. Keep deepening those abs and lower all the way back down. Third position is going to be heels on. So now the heels are on, the ankles are really flexed, and we start to press out. So by altering the foot positions, we're altering the intention of the movement and the muscle fibers that we are challenging the most. 3 more just like this. And last 2, and my legs are really long, so it's a lot of ab work. Last 1, and then from there I'm gonna add a curl forwards. 4 more for 4. Strong knees, keep the toes reaching to the ceiling for 3. Remember, don't go too low. You only wanna go as far as you can maintain your ab connection. Last 1, let's add your pulses, staying up for 8, 7. You can always lower the head and shoulders down. 4 more, 4, 3. Find the backs of the legs. Last 1, lower all the way back through. Toes are gonna be on now into what's called your high half toe position. So it's a little like pointed foot, like you're wearing a high heeled shoe. And you're gonna squeeze the legs together again. Think of those abs connecting still. We're turning on the calf muscles and pressing straight out. Same deal as before. Abs stay connected. Inner thighs squeeze. Kneecaps pull up those thighs. Finding that strong breath. Adding a curl forwards for 5. And exhale for 4. Reaching all the way up for 3. Stretching the knees for 2. And last 1, you can add your pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5. 4 more, 4, 3. Keep that curl forward. So 1, lower back down, but keep the legs in that same position. Now you can extend the legs out only as low as you can maintain your abdominal connection. That's very important because we're gonna hold the legs out for endurance. And then from here, we've got your lower and lift. So we're just gonna move the ankles. Finding that breath. So you flex the feet and point the toes. Flex and point. Keep the abs connected. Keep the inner thighs connected. We can, of course, add a curl. Try just 2 more. And last 1, bend the knees in, lower all the way down. So let's just go over some of the modifications for that. So again, you can have neutral or an imprint. We can add the abdominal curl and pulse the legs. The other thing you can do if you're not feeling like your abdominals are strong enough to support you on this day that you're watching, you can do 1 leg at a time. So you would do the exact same movements, just performing 1 leg at a time and focus on that unilateral movement for stability. Okay, so now we're into back rowing, which is some of our seated exercises that work the arms and work part of the back muscles. So you're gonna take the band behind the feet. You can be with your knees bent or legs extended long. Now the difference would be you want to sit as neutral as possible. So you want to be right up on your sits bones. If you straighten the legs, you don't want to kind of slouch back like this. So if you can have legs straight and be in a really neutral pelvis and spine, great. If you can bend your knees and feel a little bit more freedom in your hips and low back, even better. Again, you can also sit up on a prop. Any prop will work, be it a chair or like a yoga block, or a pillow, a cushion, an old phone book, if you can find one of those around. They all work really well to alleviate hip and back tension. We're gonna start with your plow exercise. So the band is again behind the feet, knees are slightly bent, and it's gonna come out through the pinky side of your hand. From here, we sit up nice and neutral, and you're gonna keep the wrists extended and exhale, just press straight back. Now you'll notice I'm kind of going to a low V as I press back, and that's because if I were to go straight down, I just hit the mat. So that might be one reason why you want to sit up on a prop, is so that you can press straight back. Otherwise, a low V is also really great. And we're trying to keep the wrists nice and long, the elbows long, and work from the back of the shoulder here. Abs are still connected, and all the back muscles work to keep me nice and upright. Shoulders are relaxed. From here, I'm working bilaterally, so both arms, but I can also work unilaterally. So I could take just the right arm back. Maybe I want to go for like 3 or 4 here. So let's try 4 on just that right side. And now let's try 4 just on that left side. So this is going to be a little bit of a challenge to our obliques to not rotate. And then let's try alternating the two. So we'll go right arm, then left arm. And the faster you go, the more challenge it is to your abdominals. We could also add pulses. So pressing both arms back, pulsing for 8, 7. You know, 8's my favorite number. 4 more for 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Return all the way forwards. Next one is called bent elbows. And we're going to swap the band into the thumb side of the hand. Sitting up nice and tall, the elbows are going to come to the same height as the shoulders, and the elbows are approximately 90 degrees. We want to keep the wrists nice and long again, and we're going to exhale, just open those arms out to the side and slowly return. You want to watch here that the elbows don't start to wing up to the ceiling or draw forwards and down. But try to keep your arms at the same level as if you're sliding across a glass table. We're going to go for 4 more here for 4. We could also do the unilateral here, just 1 arm at a time for 3, especially if you're dealing with one side stronger than the other, or if you're dealing with an injury. Last 2. I think I just added 1. Last 1, let's try a little pulse back just for 8, 7, 6, 5, really watch that the shoulder blades don't just start to pinch together. 2 and 1, return forwards. So again, just to reiterate that cue, watch that your elbows don't just pinch back and your chest doesn't start to come popping forwards. Keep the shoulder blades nice and stable as you open the elbows. The next one is your airplane. So we're going to flip the grip again, and it's going to come out through the pinky side of the hands. From here, the palms can face down or back. Usually we like down just to keep it nice and open through the shoulders. And then we're going to exhale, just press straight out and back. Think of pressing out so that, again, we don't just get the shoulder blades retracting in space, but we want to keep the arms reaching out to the sides as much as possible. You're leading from the pinky side of the hand, and we're reaching with a nice long wrist. Again, we can do just 1 arm, just the other, or reciprocal. And let's add a little pulse here for 8, 7. Find that breath for 4. Don't forget to breathe. 3. Last 2 and 1. Returning forwards. From here, the next one is going to be triceps. We're going to have a bent elbow. For this one, I like to lean forwards a little bit just so I have a little bit more area behind to extend. And we're going to exhale, extend the elbow, and return. Just try not to round over the legs. Try to keep a long spine over the legs. Nice and neutral. So you're just extending the elbow and flexing the elbow. The elbows stay slightly behind the body. Make sure you're not looking up, even if you're trying to look at your video, but keep the neck in line. You're probably going to be wanting to look towards your toes. Same idea, we could do just the right arm. Try just 2 on the right arm. We could do just the left arm. Then we could switch right, left for 4, 3, 2, and 1, coming all the way back up. Now we're going to crisscross the band. We go into our back rowing. So you might want to hold a little bit higher, and it's coming out through the pinky side of the hand. And that's in all of your notes, which side of the hand the band is coming out of. You're going to lift those arms to about shoulder height. We're going to inhale here, exhale, widen those elbows to the sides, and then slowly return. Again, you want to make sure that you're not just pinching the shoulder blades together, but we really widen the elbows out and return. We're going to do 4 more. And lengthen. Exhale for 3. Last 2. And last 1. Same idea. We could do all on the right, all on the left. Little added bonus you could do on the right and add a little twist. On the left and add a little twist. Okay? From there, we're gonna uncrisscross the band and go into a roll down. You'll want the band to come out through the thumb side of the hand. And now we're sitting up nice and tall, again, knees bent or extended, whatever helps you sit up as much as neutral as you can. Take a breath in at the top. On your exhale, start to rock back at the sits bones, slide the tailbone underneath you, scoop out into a little baby imprints and a little bit of a flexion here. From there, we're gonna take a breath in, try to breathe into the sides and backs of the ribs. Exhale, deepen the abdominals, slide that bottom rib down and flex forwards over the legs. Restack nice and tall. We usually use a ball in class behind the back for more support, so you're more than welcome to use that again. Let's try a few. Exhaling to roll back, inhale, stay. Exhale, find that bottom rib, start to flex forwards. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, rolling back. See if you can deepen the abdominals with your breath. Inhale, try not to lose the abs. Exhale, use those arms to help you curl forwards a little bit, and then slowly restack. Exhale, rolling back. Inhale there. Exhale, bottom rib draws forwards as you flex over the legs, and restack from tail to head. 2 more, rolling back for 2. Inhale, exhale, flexing forwards, tail to head rebuild. Last one, we're gonna add on to this last one. Exhale, rolling halfway back and stay. Keep the elbows just a little bit of a hover above your hip bones. We're gonna add a little bicep curl here for 6. Exhale for 5. Keep working through those abs for 4 and 3. Use that breath. And last one, again, we can do right arm only for 4. Exhale for 3. Last 2 and 1. Left arm only for 4. Exhale for 3. Last 2 and 1. You can do reciprocal as you're kind of like running through the arms. Watch that the ribs don't start to shift from side to side. And then from there, flex the elbows, flex all the way forwards. Last thing here in your back rowing series is your roll down with obliques. So we're gonna start the same way. Exhale, start to roll halfway back. Let's keep the elbows bent into a little bicep curl. Watch that the upper traps don't start to lift up. So keep the neck really long. And then from there, exhale, you're just gonna take those arms and twist to one side and center. Exhale, twist and center. Remember that you're rotating your rib cage on your waist and that you're not going to be sliding the feet or shifting the pelvis. Try one more like this. Back to center and flex forwards. So that concludes just that section of back rowing. For that, your modifications, again, are to lengthen your legs, to sit up on a raised surface, perform one arm at a time, perform reciprocal arm movements, but really watch that you're keeping the wrists long and watch from where you're working from. So we don't want to create upper neck tension and upper shoulder tension, but we want to strengthen the shoulders so that we stay out of the neck. Now we're into our bend and stretch. We've got 2 of these, parallel and lateral. So we're gonna lie back down with your bands. For these ones, your band's gonna be behind the legs, behind the thighs. So I'm gonna lie all the way down. I'm gonna find a little imprint. You can do this in neutral if you're feeling strong enough. Bring the legs up to tabletop. Band is gonna go behind the thighs. 2 options, you can hold it here just behind the thighs, or you can crisscross the band in front. So now it's kind of like you've wrapped your legs like a present. From there, I'm gonna keep that abdominal connection. The band is gonna help me connect into my hamstrings and glutes more, the backs of the legs. You don't wanna be feeling your hip flexors or your quads a lot here. And then I'm gonna exhale, press the legs straight out into that band, point the toes, and then flex the feet and fold it back in. You don't have to do the fancy ankle movements. Really, you're just worrying about pressing the legs out and folding them back in. Our goal here is to stabilize the torso against the movement of the legs, so a lot of abdominal connection. And our goal is to press into the band with the backs of the thighs, so that again, we're trying to target the backs of the legs, hamstrings, and your glutes to press out. From here, we're gonna go into your lateral rotation. So I'm gonna loosen up my band a little bit. I'm gonna bring the heels of the feet together, toes out to the side so we're flexed. So I'm in this little like frog position. And as I push into the band with my knees, I'm feeling a little bit more of my glutes working. So all those deep lateral rotators and my glute max is working as I push outwards onto that band. So that's a nice part of the exercise. And then from there, I'm gonna exhale, extend those legs. The band loosens a little bit. And then as I bend the knees, I'm pushing against the band. Exhale to reach, abs deepen, and flex and fold. For both of these, you definitely, like your footwork, can add a curl forwards. You do not need to. You'll still be getting a lot of ab and leg work without adding the flexion forwards. Just watch, especially for the second one, that you don't start to lose that lateral rotation. Really try to keep the thigh bones pressing against that band. Okay? From there, we go into lower and lift. The band is now going to be behind the feet. If I can find it. Okay. I'm going to extend the legs straight up towards the ceiling. Again, I'm going to think of a little bit of an imprint, but if you're feeling strong and neutral, go for it. And then from there, I'm going to deepen the ab connection as I lower the legs and then lift them up. Again, if the shoulders are rolling forwards, lift the elbows. If that feels like a lot of work, put something underneath your elbows. Put a magazine or a little book so you can still rest them. And lift. So we're opening the hips and closing them up. I want you to stay as much as you can, stay connected to the backs of the legs. And deepen that abdominal engagement as you press the legs away from you. Same idea, we could definitely add an ab curl to this. And lift. Make sure you're not taking tension into the neck. Next one there is your lateral rotation, lower and lift. So it's a toes apart, heels together, that baby V again. I'm gonna extend the legs straight up. Any position of the feet that keeps the band is fine, but same idea. I'm gonna keep the abs connected as I lower the legs and lift. We are only lowering to where the abs can support. If I lower too low, my back starts to arch, and then my abs aren't really working for me against the load of my legs. So we just wanna find that easy, that's not that easy, but that nice range of motion that we feel the abdominals working, but we're not taxing the abdominals out. Let's try two more. And then return. So for that was your bend and stretch and your lower and lift. Again, finding either neutral or your imprint. Maintain the tracking of the knees. So keep the knees really strong for both of those exercises when you extend them. Try not to hyperextend, but do find the strength of your knees. And adding an abdominal curl. So feel free to add more ab work. That's always welcome. The last of this section is your front rowing. So now we're gonna work the front of the shoulders. The back rowing was more of the back, and a little bit of ab work here too. So for your front rowing, you're gonna be seated. You can cross the legs in front or sit up on a prop, legs out in front, whatever is most comfortable for your hips and your low back. The band is gonna go behind the back. and underneath the armpits, and we're gonna hold it into the L of the excuse me, into the L of the hand through the thumb side of the hand. First one is just that front rowing, and our straight forwards. We're gonna inhale here, exhale, just reach those arms forwards. Inhale, fold it right back in. Exhale to just reach and fold. You're watching here that as you reach forward, your arms don't start to open too wide to the side or close in. So as I bring the arms forwards, I don't want to start to clap my hands together. You want to exhale, reach about shoulder distance, maybe a tiny bit wider, and reach. Extending the elbows, keeping the tops of the shoulders soft, so no upper trap involvement, but all from the upper top of the shoulder here. Let's go for 3 more. Exhale for 2, and last one. Now we've got our second position. You're gonna round the arms a little bit, like you're holding a really large fitness circle, and then we're gonna inhale, open the arms, and exhale, close the arms back into that circle. So you're trying to keep that resistance the entire time. So we inhale, open, and exhale, bring it together. So we're working the front of the body, the front of the shoulders and chest, but again, not working into the neck area. So we want to strengthen the front of the body, the front of the shoulders, without creating tension through the neck. The next one there is going to be your offering. So we're going to start the same way your first one started, with the elbows in towards your sides. Exhale to reach forwards, inhale to open the arms, exhale, close, and return. So we reach, open, close the arms, and return. We've got palms facing in here, but you could also try palms facing up as you open, close, and return. Reaching forwards, think about leading from the pinky side of the hand. One more like this, reach, open, close. You could also do palms facing down. So we could reach forwards, reach open, close, and return. Again, not a ton of movement at the shoulder blades. Try to keep them stable. There will be some movement of the shoulder blades for sure, but try to keep that movement slightly minimal. And then we have circles. So now on this next one, we're just gonna reach forwards, and now try little circles reaching around and around. Keep trying to reach forwards. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse that circle just for 8. And doing everything in 8s is just a really nice number to keep you pretty even. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So that's your front rowing. Again, your modifications are different sitting positions, sitting in a chair or with your legs extended. And then just really watching the wrist, elbow, and shoulder connection there. Last thing in this section of reformer work, we're going to be doing your mid-back series. Okay, so you're gonna go back to lying onto your backs. From here, I'm gonna find a little imprint, draw the legs up to tabletop, and then take the band on the top of the shins. I'm gonna take the band through the L of the hand, through the thumb and the first finger, and then from here, I want enough tension so that when I press down, I create tension on the band, and it's tensing up the back of the shoulders, the back of the arm, and the armpit area. You should also feel an intensification of your abdominals as you press down. From here, we could also add a curl forwards. So we're curled forwards and pressed down. Try just 2 more. And last one, lowering all the way back through. Same idea, you could do 1 arm at a time, or you could even try a little reciprocal movement. That's a little bit hard here for the abdominals. Now we're gonna go into your triceps. So we'll keep the elbows bent, and then we extend the elbow and then bend. Exhale, extend the elbow, press down and fold. I'm gonna add that same curl forwards. And fold. So you may not have some tension, and then you build the tension as you extend the elbows. You could keep one arm reaching and then try to bend and extend the other elbow and switch. You will lose a little bit of tension from side to side. From here, we're gonna lower the upper torso down and just try little circles. Adding a curl forwards, reverse your circles. Keep reaching forwards and lower all the way back down, lowering the legs. Some modifications for that would be to just use one leg at a time, so not having both legs up at tabletop. You can also rest your legs on something, so putting them on top of a chair or a ball so that you're not holding the weight of the legs up with your abdominals if your abdominals are not feeling up to it that day. Watch the neck tension. Feel free to use head pads for any of these exercises. So if you're finding that your neck is overextended or your shoulders are really reaching forwards or your ribs are popping, you can put a little head pad behind the head, just elevating the head to kind of relieve any of that tension. Keeping the wrists nice and long in that last one is very important as well. And finding that pelvic placement. So either really committing to your neutral or finding your imprints. That's the end of your first section, which is your reformer work. Good job. Okay, and now we're on to our mat work exercises with the flex bands. So we're gonna start seated. Legs can be crossed, or again, feet can be forwards, legs can be extended. Again, it's whatever is the most comfortable for your hips and your back. You're gonna take the band behind the back, about lower mid-scapula level, underneath the armpits, and we're gonna extend the arms straight out. You want a little bit of tension here, nothing too crazy, and you want the tension to be here at the top of the shoulders, not here at the top of the shoulder and neck, okay? So from here, we're just gonna go into a protraction and retraction. Keeping the torso nice and stable and still, you're gonna reach forward so the shoulder blades move on the spine, and then you're gonna pull the shoulder blades all the way back. So we've got full range. Inhale to protract forwards, and then exhale to retract to the back. Try, as you're doing this, to keep the arms equidistant. So as you reach forwards, again, you don't wanna clap the hands, and as you reach back, you don't wanna open out to a V. But we want to be just about in line with those shoulders. After a few of these, your shoulders should get a little bit sore. And you're still working on that good sitting posture, focusing on the breath, breathing into the sides and backs of the ribs, and focusing a little bit on that pelvic floor and transversus connection. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Bring it back to neutral and lower the arms back down. Now, for your, never mind. Now we're going to spinal rotation. So now we're going to spinal rotation. You're gonna open those arms just out to a little bit of a V, not too wide to the side, and we're gonna keep some tension into the band as you rotate through your spine. So inhaling here, exhale, rotating around, little pulse for 3. Growing taller, 2 and 1. Inhale to center. Exhale, rotating for 3, 2 and 1. All the way center and reach. Little pulse, 2. Breathing out, 1. Keep the tension on the band. Lengthening as you rotate, letting the head go with you. Keeping the pelvis nice and neutral and back to center. 1 more on each side, twist. And lengthen tall. Go even further, pull it back to center. Ground the sits bones as you rotate. Stretch out through the fingertips and through that flex band. Bring it back to center, bend the elbows and rest. now we're going on to your ab prep. For this, you're gonna take your band and lie it down the center of the mat. You wanna have about a foot at the end of the mat. And we're just gonna lie it down nice and neat here. Make sure there's no wrinkles. And then you're gonna lie all the way down onto your back. So from here, knees are bent, feet are flat, pelvis is nice and neutral. I'm gonna grab the band from the back, so the band actually starts to cradle the back of the head and neck. And then from here, I'm gonna inhale, just a gentle nod. Exhale, start to curl forwards, looking up and over those knees. The elbows are kind of pressing wide to a 45 degrees, so my armpits are slightly connected. We're gonna inhale there, and then exhale, lower back down. Inhale, little nod. Exhale, curl forwards, ribs sliding down. Inhale, stay there. Exhale, lower all the way back down. So your head and neck should feel pretty free in the band, pretty supported. And that way, as you're curling forwards, you're really able to allow the ribs to curl you forwards and not the head or the neck. Let's try just one more like that. Inhale, nod. Exhale, curl forwards. This time, let's stay and add a little pulse up for 8, 7. Find your breath. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering all the way back down. And of course, you can add more pulses to that or more reps to that one. Other modifications, we can bring the legs to straight, we can bring the legs together, and you could also bring the legs to tabletop. So I'll show you what that would look like. So now I will imprint, bring the legs to tabletop, one or both, and then do the same thing, curling forwards and lowering back down. You can even add your pulses, up, up. But what you want to be mindful of is that the legs aren't doing the movement, the ribs are doing the movements, and when the legs are lifted, you don't want the hips to take the load of the legs or the low back to take the load of the legs. You want your abdominals to be holding the load of the legs. So if you start to feel hip tension or low back tension, place one or both feet down and go back to neutral. From here, we're on to hip rolls. You're gonna lie down with your mat, or with your band. Feet flat, knees bent. The band is going to be at the front of the thighs. Feet are a little bit closer in towards your sits bones than they were for your ab prep. There's a little bit of tension as I press my hands into the band and into the thighs. I'm gonna ground the feet down and then exhale. First, start to find a little imprint. So the abs connect first. Then engage the glutes and then press the hips all the way up, putting a little bit of tension on that band. So you're using the band to encourage a little bit more hip extension. So that's opening of the hips. And you're using the band to create a little bit of shoulder girdle connection. And then we're gonna slowly roll all the way down. Let's try that again. Exhale, rolling up. Abs connect, glutes engage. Hamstrings turn it on at the end as you gently pull from the backs of the heels. Inhale at the top and exhale, slowly rolling back down. You want to make sure here that you're not rolling up too high. We just want to come up to the mid-back, not up to the neck or shoulders, to keep the abdominals connected and to really engage the glutes. Let's try 2 more. Exhaling to roll up. Press down onto that band as you lift the hips. Inhale to stay. Keep reaching the knees forwards of the toes. Exhale, slowly roll down. The last one will stay up. Exhaling to slowly peel up and stay. Now, what we could do here is some little hip pulses. So I could press my hips up into that band, just engaging a little bit more hip extensors, more glutes and hamstrings. I could pulse the arms down to get a little bit more shoulder work and ab work, or I could do both together. Arms and hips. I could do one arm at a time. I could reciprocate the arms, rolling all the way back down. So just some options as you start to build on your routine. The next exercise we're gonna do is rolling like a ball. This is not an exercise we often do in class, so I'm gonna give you some mods as well. You're going to fold the band in half, and then you can fold it in half or twice, so in fourths, and then take that band behind the legs. And then I'm gonna hold the ends of the band, so it just depends on how long your band is. You wanna have it kind of tight here. The knees are bent, the feet are flat. I'm at the front of my mat. And then from there, I'm gonna start to roll back just a little bit. It's not a full half roll back. It's just a little rock back of the sits bones. From there, I'm gonna slide the feet in, and then from there, hover the toes. So my body is in full flexion of the spine, and the feet are off, and I'm in a little balance. I'm allowing the band to help support the weight of my legs. So I'm using the band as assistance. From there, really keep the abdominals connected. Your prep looks like this. You're gonna keep the legs still in space, but roll the upper body back a little bit, and then roll it right back up. So you're gonna really challenge your abdominals. So it's like a half rollback with the legs in the air. You can push your legs into the band a little bit if you're getting some tightness through the hips. You can also open the knees or open the legs completely if you're getting tightness through the hips. Now the full exercise will look like this. So we roll back to the shoulder blades and roll back up to balance. You may have to push into the band a little bit at the end just to help your abdominals roll you forwards, to get a little bit of assistance from the legs as you roll back up. Try to roll evenly so that you're not rolling from side to side. And the biggest trick with rolling like a ball is leading from the pelvis, not from the head. If I start to go back from my head, I'm gonna fall back onto my head. I wanna keep my head kind of tucked in and lead from the pelvis as it goes up and back. Next exercise, we've got our ab series. So we're gonna do all of this on one leg and then switch to the next leg. So we'll start with our right leg just because it's easy to remember. So taking the band behind the right leg, or the right foot, and then you're gonna roll down and both legs are up at tabletop. From here, we're gonna curl forwards. You can do all of this without a curl forwards, but we're gonna extend that right leg out and then switch. Still all with the bands in the right leg. Keeping your curl or lowering back down. Then we're gonna bring both legs in. You can be, again, in an imprint or neutral, whatever is best for your back. And then exhale, I'm gonna press both legs out and return. The band is just behind that right leg only. Then from here, I can always take a break and lower the head and shoulders down. We're gonna go into our scissor. There's a little bicep curl with the arms, and there's a little reach forwards with both legs. So a little baby pulse, further, further. Bring both legs up, bend the knees, lower back down. We'll do the second side. Left foot is behind the band, right leg is just to the side. The legs can touch or just stay apart, whatever is most comfortable for your body. Exhale, I'm gonna curl forwards. I'm gonna keep my curl forwards and now reciprocate the legs. For 4 and 3, I'm watching that the pelvis doesn't shift from side to side. Last one, both legs to center, double leg stretch. And last one, bring it back to center, extend the legs, scissors. Feel the weight. Try to feel the leg pressing into the band, so you feel the back of the leg that is pressing down, that has the flex band in it. Bring everything back to center and lower back down. So that's a whole series you can do together to challenge your abdominals. Modifications for that are, again, to keep the head and the shoulders down completely for the whole set if you're getting a lot of neck tension. For your scissors, you can keep the knees bent. If your hamstrings are a little bit tight, that's fine. All right, last exercise in your mat work, it's a goodie, is your teaser. So this is pretty challenging, so we'll build you up for it. So we're gonna lie back down, find that imprint again, if it's appropriate. Bring the feet into the bands. Hold on through thumbs and fingers. And now from here, as I curl forwards, I'm gonna start to press the legs away and roll up through the spine. I arrive back of the sits bones, and now I'm gonna lift the chest and pull the shoulder blades back. And then from there, I keep the legs ideally exactly where they are, and I'm gonna roll back. You're trying to articulate through the spine on the way back. And then you can bend the knees. Inhale there. Exhale, start to curl forwards. Pressing the legs out will help you curl through any of the stiffer or weaker spots. Lengthening up. You can also bend the knees here and then roll all the way back down. Let's try one more like this. Exhale to curl forwards, press into the legs, peeling off. Try not to let the abdominals pop. Try to keep it smooth. Let's try bending the knees and then rolling back down. So then one of the challenges is going to be, can you keep the legs straight and curl all the way up? Stay behind the sits bones, open the chest. Can you keep the legs exactly where they are and just roll back through? Keep the abs connected. Can you keep the legs where they are? And roll up. Inhaling at the top, and then exhaling to roll back down. Let's try just 2 more like that. Exhale to curl forwards, find those ribs, roll through that imprint, stay balanced, back of the sits bones, keep reaching out through the legs, lift the heart up, and then keep reaching through the legs as you slowly roll back down through the spine. One more time. Peeling off, ribs sliding forwards through that imprint, arriving at the top, behind the sits bones, open the chest, and then peeling back. Bend the knees, and rest. And that's the end of the mat work section. So now we're on to your standing exercises. So you're gonna take your handy flex bands, fold it in half, and then you're gonna tie it just above the knees like this. Legs together. and just make a knot. If you want less tension, don't fold the band in half. Or don't tie as tight of a knot. From there, we're gonna separate the legs about hip distance apart, maybe a little bit wider, and then go into a squat. Arms are optional in terms of what you want to do. Hands on hips, hands in front, or reaching forwards and reaching back. So from here, let's just keep the hands on the hips to start, to just talk about a squat. So you're gonna sit the hips down and back. Think about sitting into a chair, like you're about to sit into a chair and then somebody slipped it away from you, and hence you have to stand right back up. From the side view, your ideal squat should be the same angle from shoulders to hips as it is from knee to ankle. So we don't want the weight all the way back or all the way forwards or with the chest lifted like this. So we're gonna go into just a couple of squats here, keeping a little tension in the band so that the band helps us work our lateral stabilizers. So we're gonna go down and back and up. Inhaling down, exhaling up. Find the pressure and the weight pushing into the heels as you stand up. So hands can be forwards and press, or arms can reach forwards and push you up. This one's gonna be a little bit harder, reaching arms for your mid-back muscles and for your shoulders. Let's go for 3 more. Keep pressing into the band. Last one. Now we're gonna do our shift, which is called your one-legged squat. So you go into your squat and stay. From here, there's pressure into the band. I'm gonna shift my weight over to my right side just a little bit. Find my glute, find the outside of the leg here, lift the right heel off. From there, you can either just do that or see if you can stabilize this leg, this outside leg, and hover that leg off. Hold, and then lower down, toe ball heel. Shifting to the other side. Put a little bit of pressure into that band so the knee doesn't track in. Lift the heel, ball toe up. Lower toe ball heel. Shift, lift, shift, lift. You can always hold on to a chair, or if you have a foam roller, hold on to a foam roller at home. But you really want to make sure that you're not going up and down. You're going side to side. So imagine you're in a really small room with a low ceiling and you're just trying to shift from side to side. And also make sure that there's always tension on that band. We're gonna shift over to the side and stay. Keep tension in the band and then pulse that outside leg out for 8, 7, 6. Keep finding breath, keep finding abdominal stability. Last 4, 3. Make sure it's going straight to the side, not forward or back. And then other side. Shift, lift, pulse out for 8, 7. Keep weight through the heel. Spread the toes long and wide. Last 4, 3. Keep those ribs connected. 2 and 1. Lower down, come up. You can do as many sets of those as you would like. From here, we're gonna take the band off the legs, untie it, and use this for our lunging arm series. So now the band's gonna go underneath the right foot to start, and I'm just mirroring for you guys at home. Step the left leg back, and I'm up against the wall here. You can also be up against the wall for more stability and more support. The back leg is straight as can be. If the leg is up against the wall, put the heel of the foot against the wall. If it's not, try to ground the heel of the foot. If you can't ground the heel, that's fine. Try to keep it parallel. Don't let this leg turn out as much as you can. And then from there, we're gonna start with just a little bicep curl. So the arms reach forwards, that back glute is turned on, the front leg is feeling like a pulling sensation, And then we're gonna exhale, find a little bicep curl up and return. Pulling both arms up and return. Let's try 2 more like this. Keeping the ribs connected, finding a little lean forwards. Now maybe just the right arm goes for 4, 3, 2, and 1, just that left arm for 4. Make sure the head is in line with the rest of the spine. You're not looking up or dropping your head. Then you can also go reciprocal arms, right, then left, and right, and left, so on and so forth. From here, we're gonna take the band now through the pinky side of the hand. So for biceps, it's coming out through the thumb side, like a microphone or an ice cream cone. Now it's gonna come out through the pinky side of the hand. We're gonna lean forwards a little bit more. That front knee is flexed. Really ground into that back leg. Elbows are pulled in and back. Inhale here, exhale, press and return. And fold for 4. Keep those legs strong for 3. Again, watch the cervical alignment, not looking up, not dropping down. Last one, same idea. We could just do the right arm. We could just do the left arm. We could reciprocate the arms, right, left for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then return. Our next one is going to be our rhomboid exercise, rhomboids, posterior delts. You're going to crisscross the band in front, go back into that lean. You can hold a little bit higher tension, and then we're going to flex the elbows out to the side and back, and lower back down. And lower. Again, you can think rule of 8s on these things. So finding 8 sets is a pretty good number to give yourself, 8 to 10. Let's go for 4 more for 4. You can do just single arm here as well, or reciprocating the arms. Last 2. And last 1. One more exercise here on this right leg. Uncross the band. We've got our chest expansion. So it's just a shoulder extension, still leaning forwards over the legs. You're gonna press back, straight arms, and return. Exhale, press straight arms back, and return. Be mindful that the wrists stay long. You're leading from the pinky side of the hand. You're not pulling the shoulder blades, you're not pinching them back, but you're keeping them nice and neutral, opening the shoulders, opening the collarbone, keeping the abs connected, and the glutes engaged. Last one, let's try some pulses for 8, 7. Keep firing both glutes. 4 more, 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Okay, time for the other side. So you're gonna step the left foot in, the band, step the right leg back. Again, this first one, it comes out through the thumb side. So we're going into your biceps first. Leaning forwards a little bit, engage both glutes. Feel like the legs could almost pull together. And then exhale, bicep up. And return. Both arms working here. If you want to make it a little bit harder for the shoulders, you'll lift those arms a little bit higher up. 4 more. And 3. Last 2. And last 1. We're going to switch the grip. It now comes out through the pinky side of the hand. Lunging slightly forwards over that front knee. Flex the elbows in. Keep the ribs connected. Exhale, press straight back and fold. So it's a little tricep kick back. Find that breath. Keep lengthening that back leg. 4 more. Find that full extension of the elbows. And 3. Keep that front knee bent for 2. Little bicep curl here at the top, last 1. Then from here, we go into our chest, our rhomboid, Crisscross the band in front for more tension. Grab up a little bit higher. It's coming out the pinky side of the hands. From here, we're just gonna pull those elbows up and out and return. Keep finding that strength. And reach. 4 more for 4. Exhaling for 3. Think about those elbows pressing out to the side. And last 1. And then uncross the band. Now it's going to come out through the pinky side of the hand. Leaning forwards over the leg. Pressing straight back and returning. Let's do 2 more bilateral with both arms. And then let's try some unilateral. 4 on the right for 4. Exhale for 3. Last 2. Last 1. 4 on the left for 4. And 3. Last 2. And 1. Let's try reciprocal arms. Right, then left, and right, and left. 4 more for 4. Trying not to rotate. Last 3. Last 2. Legs should still be feeling some work. Last 1. And return. So that's the finish of your lunging series. So next is our standing angel. You're going to take the band underneath both feet. Feet are just about hip distance apart, maybe a little bit closer than for your squats. And then take the band into each hand towards the ends. You're in control of your tension. So if you want more tension, grab up a little higher. If you want less tension, grab to the end of the band. From there, the palms are facing forwards. Think about the abs connecting, shoulders are soft, and then we're gonna exhale, lift those arms straight up and lower back down. Now you're only lifting to where it's comfortable for your shoulders. So even if it's just to here, that's great. Exhale to reach up and slowly lower. Let's try 4 more for 4. Keeping the ribs connected. Think about reaching slightly forwards of the sides. Last 2. And last one like that bilaterally. Now, of course, we can do this 1 arm at a time. Just the 1 arm and just the other arm. And you can also switch from side to side. That makes it a little fun game for your torso. Let's try that 2 more times. And last one. Great. From here, we're going to go into our rotator strengthener. So you'll take the bands in both hands. Palms are going to stay facing up for now. Elbows are pulled in towards your waistbands, nice and taut. And then from there, you're simply going to rotate the shoulders to take the band out and then return. Find an exhale out. And slowly return. Now what's important here is that you're not just squeezing your shoulder blades and extending the spine. Keep everything else still as you just move from your shoulder joints. And return. Let's try just 3 more like this for 3. And return. Exhaling out for 2. And return. Last one. Now you can also do this 1 arm at a time. If you do 1 arm at a time, it still works both sides. Because this, my right, so your left arm would be your stabilizer as you move this guy. And now this becomes your stabilizer as you rotate this guy. You can also do this sitting in a chair, seated on a ball, wherever is comfortable for your body. Now our next exercise is your half moon. You're going to take your band, reach it up overhead. So it's a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart. From here, keep the ribs connected. We know anytime the arms go overhead, the ribs are going to want to pop and the spine wants to extend. So find those obliques to stay stable. And then from here, we're just going to reach up and over to go into some lateral flexion and then bring it back to center. Exhale, reach up and over. And return. You can add a little bit of tension as you press down to go up and over. Exhale, I'm going to press down and reach up and over. You're going to feel a big stretch, but you're also working through your shoulders as well. Now I'm going to add on to this on the next one. So we're going to go up and over towards your left. And then from here, I'm going to put a little bit of tension into the band, bend this top arm, and then press it up for a tricep press. Inhale to bend, Exhale to press it straight up. Let's try 2 more. And last one. And then bring it back through. Up and over to the other side. You fold that elbow and press up for 4. Keep pulling down with that opposite arm for 3. You can look up to that hand to relieve any neck tension. 2. And last one. Bring it all the way up through those obliques and lower back down. Final exercise here goes from that half moon to just a gentle pec stretch. So we're going to take that band, give it a little stretch, and allow those arms to go behind, and then all the way back up and over. If you have any shoulder issues, this is probably not going to feel great, so just don't do it. Find any other shoulder, chest stretches that you know. Lie on a foam roller, go up into a door frame. This is just a nice pec stretch if you've got the range of motion. If you're super, super flexible in the shoulders, this may also not be a great idea. So just be mindful when doing this last exercise. Let's try just one more. You're pulling apart as it goes behind the back, and then pulling apart as it reaches forwards. Great, and that's the end of our portable Pilates video workout. Thank you so much for joining me, and great work. And meet me back at Mind Art Core when you're home.